obviously interviewing Lou Holtz. Lou, you've had a tremendous career in football, but also in coaching. But one question I want to ask you is, did you enjoy the coaching side more or the playing side of football more?
I enjoyed the coaching side because you could do it for many more years. You weren't beat up after a game. You didn't have enough on the bumps and bruises. But being part of a team, I think the great thing about football is the microcosm of life. You know, as a team, you learn to sacrifice your own personal wishes for the welfare of the team. You get down, you get knocked down, you got to pick yourself up. You have the exhilaration of success, the agony of defeat. It's just about life. And I'm an old man, but the one thing I've learned, you're always going to have problems. You're always going to have difficulties. You're never going to have it made. You're never going to reach a point and say, wow, I got it made now.
It's amazing to see how many, you talk about football and having to sacrifice and play for the unit versus the one. It's amazing how many parallelisms there is between sports and football and life.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I learned more on a football field than I ever learned in the college classroom. And I learned more as an officer in the Army about leadership and about the obligation you have to your fellow soldier. And we tried to take that same thing into the team. You want to fail, you have the right to fail. You do not have the right to cause your teammates to fail because you don't fulfill your obligations.
Yeah, that's so good. Let me talk to you. You mentioned fail right there. And in life is in business, entrepreneurship, and sports, failures comes. And sometimes you get kicked in the teeth and you lose and you have a failure. What would you say is a great way for someone to learn how to overcome a failure when they get them?
Well, June 22nd, 2015, I was awakened at 2:30 in the morning. Our house was on fire. I got my wife out safely.
Wow.
I'm not sure she would awaken me, but I did awaken her. But the house burned to the ground. And Sunday morning, nothing but smoldering ashes. My wife's crying hysterically, and I said, you have 24 hours to cry, to feel sorry for yourself, to wallow in self-pity. I said, come 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're going to look ahead. The good Lord put eyes in front of your head rather than back to you and see where you're going rather than where you've been. We aren't going to worry about this. We're going to build a bigger and better. Gave her an unlimited budget and she exceeded it. But that's how you handle it. You give yourself X amount of hours to feel sorry for, and from that point on, you got to move forward. This is where we are. This is the situation. Where do we go from here?
Interesting. So you give yourself some time to feel the pain, the failure, and set a time limit, and then move on.
You want to feel the pain so you remember how bad it is. You don't want it to happen again. But you just have to move on with your life. There are too many people that worry about the past. I like to use the word win. What's important now?
What's important now?
You evaluate the past, focus on the future, tell you what you have to do in the present. And it's how many times have we seen a football team lose one week and lose to the same team the next week? Not because they're playing them, but because they were not able to focus on the future. They looked at the past. And that's like, I think that we're going to have the game at the Bengals versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
Now, the Chiefs going to think about that game all week against Buffalo.
Right.
Are they going to focus on Cincinnati? If they focus on Cincinnati, they'll be okay. But that's just life. Focus on what you have to do at the present.
We kind of saw it in college football, too, with Alabama and Georgia.
Oh, no doubt. But anytime you have a rematch, somebody just like the Bengals beat Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
We lost a football game once to me. They said, would you do anything different? I hope to God I would. I hate to think I'm that dumb. I wouldn't do the same thing. So you make the adjustments. The team that won will say, well, then we do the same thing. But it's making adjustments and giving your players an opportunity to win. As a football coach, the only obligation I felt was to make sure I gave them a chance to win. We practiced the right way. We gave them a good game plan. We focused on the thing. Because as a coach, you can't win a game, but you can lose a game with talent. You can't win without talent, you lose with it. But your obligation is to prepare them to succeed. I never felt I coached football, I felt I coached life.
Life.
The same things that make you a good player, a good teammate, will make you a successful husband, father, businessman, and players come and go. Teammates last a lifetime. And a teammate is somebody that genuinely loves his teammates.
I love that. Last two questions I got for you. You coach a lot of great teams, and a lot of different programs. Obviously, you set many records at Notre Dame, of course, as well. Is there any favorite memory you have as a college football coach that always just sticks out in your head as a favorite memory?
It would have to be the game that changed my life more than any was the Sugar Bowl, or the Orange Bowl when I was at Arkansas. We going to play Oklahoma, which at that time was #1. We suspended 3 athletes, scored 78% of our touchdowns, became the largest underdog there's ever been in a major bowl. And yet we beat Oklahoma 31-6 because we focused on what we had instead of focusing on what we don't have. And there are too many people that look for reasons why we can't be successful instead of looking for reasons why we can.
Wow.
But the reason I say that changed my life, because all of a sudden General Motors, IBM came in and said, come talk to our group. What? I got a list I got to see. And the only speech class I ever had, Kent State 101. And they said, well, just come tell about how you won the game, how you got the team to believe. And so it changed my life as a speaker, it changed my life as a public person. I ended up being on the Johnny Carson show, and the thing goes on. But there are so many at Notre Dame, there are so many great games.
Sure.
You know? But also, you know, when I signed Lou Holtz 1988 national championships, I won a right and screwed in 89, 90, and 93. But you move on.
Yeah.
You move on with life. You can't be bitter about it.
That's awesome, man. Great advice. Best advice we've heard all day so far. Last question I have for you. I have this show called I Am Me, and it's just talking about being the authentic person of who you are. And you know, obviously today in the world, there's all kinds of social media and different things, but let me ask you this, when it's all said, and all the fans that follow you, and the players that knew you, and the TV broadcasting, and all this stuff, if people remembered you by one word, what would you want that one word to be that people remembered you by when they think of Lou Holtz?
I think it's hard to put it in one word. I just think it's sincere.
Sincere.
I've tried to teach our athletes to make good choices. That's all life is, wherever you are, good or bad, because the choices you make. And learn to make good choices. And as I say, it isn't real hard. Just follow 3 rules. Do the right thing and do the best and show people you care. It's not more up. You'll never need a 4th rule. like do what's right. It's not right to find a teammate's wallet before he lost it. That's called stealing.
Interesting.
Just do the right thing.
Give me those 3 rules one more time.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
The reason it's important to do the right thing is the only way you can build trust. You cannot have a relationship if you can't trust one another. You do everything the best of your ability because people want to be around people who committed excellence. But the most important thing is show people you care. You're never going to meet anybody again that doesn't need a smile, a kind word, encouragement. Everybody's got problems there. Yes. But if you can build love on a football team, you're unbeatable.
Unbelievable. I love those 3 rules. Lou, it's been a privilege interviewing you. A tremendous career. Had a great time watching it from the sidelines. Thank you very much, Lou.
Thank you for having me.